All right, so today in this episode we're going to talk about how to clean a biathlon rifle. I've got the Anschutz model 1827, but principles are very similar for the Ishmash rifle as well. Opinions differ as to when, how often you should clean a rifle, but there are a couple rules of thumb. If you've been training and it's really wet outside, say it's muggy and or it's raining a lot, then you definitely want to clean your rifle. Or if you chance to be training in an area where it's really windy, there's a lot of airborne grit, and kind of associated with that would be scenarios where you might not be on a paved range, and so there's like sand or dirt, and it's real easy to drop a clip or something in the sand and then get a little bit of grit in your in your bolt or other areas. So to start with, I have here, what I carry with me anytime I'm traveling with the rifle is an Otis cleaning kit. It is that size, so it's very light and portable, and it comes with a snake that you can screw on a brass brush, and there's also another attachment here that allows you to to pull little cotton patches through the barrel. And then I have, this is an Otis, what's called Ultra Bore moisture dispersant, friction reducer and metal conditioner. It's kind of an all-in-one, so it's a degreaser, cleaner, but it also conditions metal, and it'll protect your rifle. So it's always good to leave a layer of that on after you've cleaned your rifle. So to start with, you want to typically you'd want to remove the bolt, and I've already done that. Takes just a minute to do, but get the bolt out, and then typically I start with this snake. So it's a good idea to go from the bore to the tip of the barrel, and you just feed the snake. Ow, did that wrong. Gotta go through the back of the bore. So you're going to feed this down, and you've got the brass brush. It's a soft brass brush, and I run this through once or twice. So you run it through the barrel, just reach up and pull it through, and what that does is it loosens up any of the kind of the heavy particulate, and it'll pull that out the front end of the barrel. Then at that point I switch to the other attachment here, and I've already got a patch. Now you can get various sizes of these cloth patches. I find that the larger ones work best. The small ones tend to not be a real good, there's just not enough volume to them. So once you have that attached, then you take a little bit of this all-purpose cleaner and you put just a couple, 3 to 4 drops on it, and it's the same process. You just feed this into the barrel. Takes a little bit of practice to figure this thing out, but feed it into the barrel, pull it through. So sometimes they're a little bit, takes a bit to get them started. If it's too difficult, you don't want to force anything into the barrel. It's a little bit awkward here. So typically then what you end up with, if you can see here, is a dirty patch. So you can run a few of these through the barrel. I'm just going to do one in the essence of time here. But you'll run one through the barrel. Typically I do, 5 to 6 is what I'll use. Then you set that aside. And it's okay, you'll leave a little bit of that oil in the barrel, and that protects things, especially if it's moist out, then you don't get any rust that sets in. Then the next step is just to take a rag, and this guy has already been soaked with a fair bit of this lubricant, but just put a little bit on, and then you just want to rub it all over any exposed metal surfaces. So that protects, it just puts a layer of protectant on there, and that will protect against light rust setting in. And actually, if there has, what you don't want is really heavy rust setting in anywhere. Every once in a while, especially if you're out east where it tends to be very muggy, you'll end up with little spots of light rust. If you go for a few hours out in the rain or something, and that's okay. Just use this is an old white T-shirt. It's got a bunch of oil in it now, but if you rub that down on those little rust spots, they'll come right off. So it's just very superficial, but it's critical that you get them off early. The final step then is cleaning the bolt, and what I use for that is a little, it's actually what we call a dental pick. But any sort of little kind of sharp rounded object will work. But these dental picks travel really easily. You can get them at most little stores. So you just start and basically go around any of the little tight spots here on the bolt, and you clean those all out. You want to get all the grit out, and then you can, in this case, I'll just reuse this little patch that I already ran through the barrel, but there's still some clean spots on it. So the goal is to get this completely clean. You don't want any grit on there. And look at all the little grooves along the edges. And then again, just like everything else, you want to wipe it down with a little bit of oil. So now that you've got that part clean, the final step here then is to clean out the inner portion, or I guess the back side of the barrel. So you're going to use the dental pick here, and you just reach in and find all the little pieces, kind of particulate powder, and it usually takes a couple minutes to get everything out, because it's a bit of a tedious process. But using this cloth works really well. Another thing that is sometimes a good idea to travel with is Q-tips. Especially try to get the Q-tips that have, if you're going to use those, get them that have kind of a long, or not long, but that have a harder, they don't bend easily. That way you can push on them a little bit, and it allows you to get all the grease out. So again, just like with the bolt, you want to clean all the important little pieces, and you'll get to be a pro at it. It doesn't take very long. But once you've got all the grit out, then you're set to go. You just put the bolt back in, and you're ready to shoot. One final, I guess, kind of rule of thumb: every 300 to 500 shots is a good average. If it's been, say, it's just normal shooting and it's been dry, and all things considered, it's not a bad idea to go a few hundred shots. That's fine.